Hi there, welcome to Recap City. Today, I am going to share a 2002 American science fiction movie titled The Time Machine. Warning, spoilers ahead. Enjoy watching. The film is set in the year 1899. It starts with Dr. Alexander Hartdegen, an associate professor of applied mechanics and engineering at the University of Columbia. The scene begins in a room where we see him working on a formula on a board, so invested that David Philby, his friend and colleague, has to remind him of his date at 5 with Emma, his girlfriend. Realizing he's going to be late, Alexander hurriedly picks up his notes and rushes back to his house to get ready. On their way home, David talks about Alex's proposals that have been rejected by the university. He continues by suggesting that to make his proposals useful for humans he should make them less radical for them. When they arrived, they were greeted by Mrs. Watchett, Alex's housekeeper. Alex gets into fancy new clothes and then leaves to meet Emma. Then he finally sees Emma. They talk while walking in the city's Central Park. Alex reveals that his health is deteriorating fast and the only thing that can make him feel good again is if she accepts to marry him. Emma said yes, accepting his proposals emotionally. After a little hassling through his pockets, he finds the ring with her birthstone embedded in it and gives it to her. Emma can't contain her happiness. Suddenly, a man passes by and approaches and circles them. It turns out to be a thug robbing them. When Alex tries to retaliate, the robber points his gun at him. Alex gives his wallet and watch, and he also wants Emma's ring, but they deny it. Then the man tries to snatch it from her, but Alex fights back, shooting Emma in the scuffle. Alex doesn't know what to do. He's calling her name while holding her in his arms as she takes her last breath and dies. He is beyond devastated as he hugs her limp corpse and cries in vain. The scene is cut and 4 years have passed since the incident. We can see Alex writing a formula on the board, researching something like he always does. He's still not gotten over Emma's sudden death and keeps himself occupied with his work ever since that incident. His friend David and Mrs. Watchett are concerned about what he's been doing to himself. That same day, David comes to meet him and notices something behind the curtains in his lab. David demands Alex tell him what he has been working on behind it. Alex refuses to show him his work, so David invites him for a dinner in a week and should show him his invention then. A week goes by and Alex's work is complete. He dresses in a nice suit, for the first time since Emma's passing. He then opens the curtains and reveals the huge machinery behind it. It's a wonderful piece of invention which is made of many gears and wheels, and a chair fixed in the middle of it. Alex sits on it and looks at Emma's picture on his locket. Then, he slowly pulls down a lever, and the machine starts running, making a sphere shield around him. The machine then puts itself in motion. When Alex pulls down a final lever, the camera zooms into a pocket watch and we see its hand move in an anti-clockwise direction. As it turns out, the machine Alex is using is a time machine. He has put his blood and sweat into the machine, to go back to the day Emma died 4 years ago and save her. In the following scene, we see the future Alex in Central Park on the day of Emma's death. She sees him and runs towards him. Alex is stunned to see his precious love back. He kisses her in delight and runs her to the nearest chariot to take her away from the park. They get off the chariot in the middle of the city. Alex tells her to go to her home and stay there for the night. Assuming that the past Alex will come to Emma's home at night, he tells her to not be confused and just remember that he loves her. He leaves her by the side of the road to get her flowers as he promised. But then, a vehicle hits her, killing Emma again. Alex realizes that he cannot change Emma's fate and no matter what he does, she will die that night. But he doesn't give up. He believes that the people from the future have surely found a way to alter this factor, so he decides to go into the future and study futuristic time machines. He gets into the machine and pulls down the lever again, this time setting the time to 2030. As he travels through time, he sees the world around him changing. In 2030, he sees an advertisement for a settlement being established on the moon. He goes to the New York Library, hoping to find a book on time travel where he meets a hologram of the librarian named Vox 114 and is stunned by the technology. However, when he talks about time travel, Vox 114 reveals that there hasn't been any invention of such sort. Thinking that he would have better luck a couple of years later, he gets into the machine again and now travels to the year 2037. In 2037, the world has been fully destroyed. The lunar habitation program has made the Earth inhabitable because the moon was pulled closer to it. The gravitational forces of the bodies change, causing frequent earthquakes and tsunamis on Earth. The lunar habitation has caused a huge crack on the surface of the moon. 2 policemen, who are evacuating the Earth, arrest Alex to take him to his evacuation center. As he resists them, the ground starts to shake and splits in half, spilling out hot lava. Alex quickly gets into his machine and drives away, but amidst the chaos, hits his head on a piece of metal, making him go unconscious. The time machine starts its journey, but an unconscious Alex isn't there to stop it. When he finally opens his eyes, he sees that he has reached the year 802,701, and quickly stops the machine before falling unconscious again. He wakes up in a bed with his wounds healed. As he wears his clothes, a little boy approaches him and runs away. Alex follows the kid and sees that the future humans have reverted to a primitive lifestyle and live on cliffs. They all come to Alex and watch him in awe, but do not seem to understand English, except for a girl named Mara who can speak the language fluently. Alex tells her that he is a time traveler, but Mara tells the others he is just a wandering fool so that they won't kill him. Those people are called the Aloys. A loud honking is heard, and everyone goes into their shed. That night, he stays at Mara's place with her brother Kalen. He sees the broken pieces of the moon in the sky. The following day, Mara takes Alex to his time machine. The two see that it has not been damaged. Mara insists Alex take Kalen with him to the past. Before Alex can ask why a loud honking is heard in the background, Mara freaks out and runs to save Kalen, as a confused Alex follows her. Everyone around them starts running back to the cliffs as well. Suddenly, Alex comes face to face with a beast-like creature. They are called the Morlocks. More of them emerge from the ground and start attacking everyone. They tie the people they can get their hands in, and take them to the ground. Alex watches as one of them gets Mara and sinks with her into the soil. When all of them are gone, Alex tries asking the others where the Morlocks take them, but Kalen tells him that when the Aloys are taken, they are not supposed to talk about it. Kalen then takes Alex to the opening of the world of the Morlocks. They climb down into a cave and Alex realizes that it is the New York Library. The hologram of Vox 144 talks from behind them. Since the technology worked on solar power, he has survived all these years. Alex is beyond surprised and asks him what is going on with the world now. Vox 114 replies that the human race has evolved into two, Aloys and Morlocks. This is the nature of the world now. The Morlocks come to the surface to hunt Aloys for survival. Vox then reveals that to reach the world of Morlocks, they should follow the breathing. Kalen and Alex hear the noise and follow it to reach a massive statue of a demonic face whose mouth is an opening to Morlock's world. He leaves Kalen outside and climbs down underground carefully. He finally reaches the place and sees a whole civilization there. He then sneaks into a room and accidentally falls into a pond full of human remains. Alex is then found by a Morlock and sent into their leader's chamber. The leader explains that when the moon dissociated, some people sank under the ground with nowhere else to go. Over the years, they evolved into flesh-eating Morlocks. Others miraculously survived on the surface and repopulate the Aloys. The Morlocks tried to come back to the surface, but couldn't, because of the years of underground evolution. So, they started to hunt the humans from the surface for food and breeding. The leader also reveals that he has the power to control both Aloys and Morlocks' minds, and controls the balance of the world through them. He has also read Alex's mind and knows that he is a time traveler and he desires to bring Emma back. He makes Alex hallucinate about his life if Emma hadn't died. He is filled with sadness to see Emma and his kid playing. The leader then concludes that humans cannot change fate, because they are the results of their actions. Then, he shows Alex the time machine that he had brought into the Morlock world. The leader wants him to go back to where he came from, and not harm the balance of the society now. Alex quietly obliges, but as he starts the machine, he pulls the leader in with him. The two struggled for a while. Alex holds him outside the machine sphere and starts it. The leader dies rapidly by aging. He again stops the machine in the future and sees the place is filled with Morlock's cave, suggesting that the place is now ruled by Morlocks. Alex then comes back to save Mara and brings her out of the cage. The Morlocks get angry and leap to attack them, but Alex jams a gear in the machine, creating a massive distortion in time. The time machine explodes, taking all of Morlock's world with it, but Mara and Alex manage to run out of the cave just in time. With the time machine destroyed, Alex decided to stay with the Aloys as he has found a new purpose in his life. We see Vox 144 teaching the young Aloys about the history of the world. Alex takes Mara and Kalen to a place where his lab used to be in his time. As he talks to them, somewhere in another time, David and Mrs. Watchett enter Alex's lab and discuss his disappearance. David thinks that wherever or whenever he may be, he knows that he will find the happiness he's been longing for. He then offers Mrs. Watchett to work as a housekeeper for him. Help us grow this channel. Subscribe for more videos every day, turn on notifications and leave a like and a comment. Thank you for watching. See you at the next one.